Hello, chat. What's the topic of the night? Boy, what the fuck is that, chat? Are we finally doing my Tofia, Cyrax, Nova, Bowser, Nightmare, Blunt rotation? I know who Cyrax is in that list of characters, but otherwise, that's like... it's like announcing just an insane statement of nonsense words. Dude, I know I said I was gonna do the rest of that fucking call, but like holy shit. Do I need like a chaser, okay? Do I need a chaser? Did you hear about the grooming shit Xylee looked into earlier today? No, I had no idea. I don't know. I haven't been online. I literally turned on my computer for the first time today, like less than 30 minutes ago. I've been well grooming in air quotes there. Okay. But yeah, man. I needed a fucking break after that call. I do want to go back to it and finish it. I want to get through it, right? But I need to do something else in the meantime because like it was so tiring. And you know, I get home from work, it was fucking raining. Fucking, I'm tired. I'm doing my taxes, and that's terrible and never a good time, right? So I got a twitch in my eye, like fuck me, dude. So I needed to just be like, I need to cover something that's not you know busy or super strenuous, right? Podcast mode activation. We'll be able to see Diesel's cute face. Always glowing, by the way. You know, I watched a TikTok. I think Cloudy had put it in some server. But it was a TikTok about like this chick, and she was like, dude, I went to the therapist and they said getting sun would help, and it did. And now I'm trying those breathe right strips to sleep. And I've been sleeping with breathe right strips and I can breathe so much better. But it's also left a mark on my nose, by the way. So there's a little red mark from that as well. But like it actually works. It actually works. I did my taxes the first week of February, bro. I wish you peace. Dude, I hate taxes. Okay, why can't they just give me a bill? Why do I have to guess? Okay? I hear in other countries they just give you a bill. Why? I mean, I know why. I mean, the technocratic oligopoly of tax-related businesses lobbied for convoluted tax laws in order to facilitate their need in society. But you know, we don't talk about that. Getting back into my Full Metal Alchemist fix again. It's been a while since I rewatched it. I need to rewatch it. I'd probably watch, you know, Brotherhood, not the original. But, you know, I got my coffee. We're going to be talking about Slop discourse. I know the ops are going to be talking about Slop discourse, but I needed a topic, so I stole it from them.
That sentence had too many syllables. Apologize.
Well, hey, I have an art degree, okay? I'm allowed to use as many syllables as I wish. Okay, no fucking way. This is based. Hold on. Before we even get on to today's subject. Diesel, we are covering Casey Anthony tonight. Don't worry. Okay. Dude, you guys know about the McDonald's in the Pentagon?
Dear Starbucks in the Pentagon, I'm not exactly sure what kind of substance your men are on, but I'm pretty sure it leaves a
I haven't.
taster when it spent and gone, going through pack after pack. You understand the cameras have you cracking through those in the back. Game set, your brain dead, the shop's the same all afternoon. The morning's horrible, true, but you'll just be acting like you're busy.
Dude, do you think the Starbucks in the Pentagon upsells their coffee? Like, do you think it costs more to get McDonald's in the Pentagon than anywhere else? Like, I feel like they would charge more in there.
Cause who the fuck wants coffee at 3 p.m. of the day? Who wants to be awake? Yeah, we're here with something to say. You speak on corporate greed, but I don't believe you really should. Your corporate just decreed that your bathroom doors are locked for good. Right after your CEO got a bonus 96,000 grand. And sandwiches look like this now. Like, is that shit still even
I gotta say, aren't the sandwiches toasted? I've had that sandwich before at Starbucks. You know, I like that sandwich. It's a good sandwich.
And our place is safe here. These dumb fads love your shitty little snacks. No.
This implies that the average McDonald's minimum wage worker is more privy to state secrets than the president of the fucking United States. I don't think they talk about work with the McDonald's employee.
Of course it's upcharged. You don't pay taxes on it.
Do you really not pay taxes on the McDonald's in the Pentagon? How do you know? Wait, how do you know that?
Kitchen in the back. We hear you.
Dude, I'm gonna have my door busted down by the feds. You pay federal taxes. Oh. I don't know if any of you are telling the truth. It would be like any on-base facility. They don't upsell because they get nearly regular business, and yes, the sales tax exempt in a government facility. Oh, okay. All right, I understand it. No, this is getting distracted. I need to lock in. So, chat, say hi to YouTube. Say hi to them. This is going to be a video. Because of course it is. Because this is part of the problem. I'm part of the problem. Hi, YouTube. Guys, the YouTube slop problem is a problem. It's not really a problem. The people who say it's a problem pretend that they're high-class artists. But unfortunately, you're not a high-class artist. You're on YouTube.com where nobody cares. The slop problem, the slop discourse is literally a nothing burger. This has been going on for a while, and I think, I don't know, it's of two things, right? Trying hard is popular again. But in the same breath, people who are successful without trying tend to annoy people.
Hi, future me. Who are you?
Aren't the ones complaining the same ones begging their audience for money? I mean, you know, in the same breath, I am also a professional beggar. Okay, so like an anti-slop video, like KJ said. You know, it's like pretending to be health food, right? Let me tell you how a person interacts with YouTube. When you are a YouTube watcher, you are watching because you are looking to fill silence, which is a byproduct of our constantly connected age. We are all looking to fill the void of silence. You may be walking around doing chores while listening to YouTube. Some of you have even been in the chat saying, I'm listening to Diesel at work. You would much rather listen to me than to sit in abject silence without anything. That's why slop content has become popular, right? People are just looking to fill that space. And that's fine. That's a need for content. Not all content is like that. Absolutely. There's a lot of high effort videos that are put together on YouTube and they come out. But the thing is, and I can tell you this firsthand, those things are expensive. A lot of the guys that are able to successfully do that without producing slop content, good for them. But it is really hard and nearly impossible. Okay?
I'm a dirty money slot doodah. I am willing to do anything as long as I get paid.
So true. Me too. Within reason. He's out here reading a script. Point and laugh at him, chat. I'm not reading a script. That's the thing. But the problem is that everybody keeps making slop content as if it's overtaking all other kinds of content. You either aren't going out and looking for content that you want, you're just letting the recommended page give it to you, or you go out and watch content creators who make slop content and then get annoyed feeling like you could have just watched the original video. I have been in positions where I sit down and I watch a video and then like the ending is like so Here's one. It was actually from a video essay creator. I won't say who. They're actually fairly big, but they did a video on Calvin and Hobbes. And the Calvin and Hobbes video they did posited a big question at the beginning. I get to the end of the video and the guy waxes philosophical, but does not like, you know, kind of tie it up in a nice little bow. And even though this wasn't slop content, I felt like I was robbed of my time because the like effort and time he put into it just ended up resulting in a non-answer to the question I asked, right? Because you might see a YouTube video like titled as a question, right? So it's not even a problem with slop content. It's just how we package things online, right? People, I think a lot of people get annoyed with how things are packaged online because it's all an intention game. It's all an intention game, and that's fine. That's how the business works. We need to be open about that business, but you can't be an artist and be successful without making concessions somewhere. That's just the reality of it, right? You can be an artist, you can be successful, right? You can be a successful artist, but it's a give and take. You can't have everything you've always wanted and not have something taken away artistically. That's just how it works, all right? I've never seen a collaborative piece of art that is fully the person's own with absolutely no outside influence from another person. Films are not the creation of one director. There are hundreds of people that work on a film, that produce a film. I guarantee you there's been no film ever created that a director goes, that was my idea through and through, and nothing in it came out wrong. Slop content isn't killing other content. The algorithm is. If you like high quality YouTube animations, the problem isn't slop, it's YouTube. Well, that's another thing. And sorry, I got to take it from Mr. Beast. When we talk about the algorithm, what's being discussed there is the audience, right? It's like, oh, the algorithm didn't like my video. It didn't put the video out to people. No, if you check the statistics, it put the video out to people. It didn't resonate with people then. It might resonate with people later and it'll blow up later. But YouTube needs to develop information on who wants this video versus who doesn't want this video, right? And I think a reason a lot of the people gravitate towards slop content, quote unquote, is because it like either people want to watch things with others. I think that's a thing that comes up a lot. There's almost a communal aspect into reacting to something together. I think a lot of you guys come here because you want me to react to something, but you also want like my hot takes. Some of you just think I'm hot. I mean, I think I'm above average, but you know, I understand it's cold outside, baby. But like, I don't watch slop content ever, really. I don't even watch commentary content ever. I just don't watch the content of my genre. I watch like glupshido other videos.
I give money to people who make things I like, so that they make more things I like. It's really that simple.
Thank you, philosopher. Thank you. I mean, I just be sitting here all quirked up. Sorry, I defaulted to the overused word. No, well, it's like also a good point that I probably should have addressed anyway, right? When I say the algorithm, I was more referring to how YouTube pays people and rewards constant posting. It does, dude. Oh my God. I didn't realize how important posting constantly is, like, literally how the system works right now, right? Because of the competition with TikTok. The need for stuff and stimulation is so high now, right? That it's hard to keep up with it if you're a solo operation, you know? Like, I've prepped videos in advance, and if you're a member to Little Guys Incorporated, you could get access to that members content. But the point is that I needed to prep that content in advance. I need to constantly do more, right? And I'm only one guy. So it's like, okay, so now there's 2 editors that I have that I pay. And I can't even pay them that much because I don't make enough from this channel, but I want to make sure I pay them. So I make sure I pay them, right? But these are like, you know, you scale up, but you do as much content as possible. But it's kind of fucking crazy. I mean, most of the channels I like are Reddit readers and memers. Diesel, Not Block, and all the drama channels I frequent.
Inzar celebrates 3 months of membership, non-stop thirst slop. Slur slur soy soy wall pants.
Diesel, you said you'd play more Dustborn weeks ago. I will be petty and not let you forget. I do want to play more Dustborn, but it's like I gotta mix it in with other regular streams because, like, I don't, for some reason, some people want Dustborn, but then the most people just want me to sit here and yap about fucking drama. Hold on, let me look at my schedule to see how many more streams I'm doing this week.
Here is $2. Go experience Novan online.
I have no idea what that is. Is it slop feeding time? Let's see. I couldn't stream Tuesday because I fell asleep. And then I have D&D tomorrow, so I probably won't be able to stream. I might be able to stream Friday, I don't know. And then Saturday, Sunday, and Monday I should be streaming. But, yeah, I literally have a sketch. So, chat, this is really funny. It looks at blank calendar while I'm all booked up, chat. I actually have a schedule. Hal was annoyed that I was working at insane hours. So she was like, I'm going to make a schedule for you. And so Hal made a schedule for me because she was really fucking irritated that I didn't know how to, like, manage my time appropriately. But we have more slop discourse to get into. Yet another slop video has hit the YouTube algorithm. So if you guys don't know who this fella is, this is Jack Manifold. He fought at Creator Clash and is a British person. I don't know why that last part was necessary. It really wasn't, but there it is.
Now, for those of you who are aware of me before I made this channel, you'll know exactly why I made it. When I made my main channel, every single time I uploaded, I had the philosophy
This is Tubbo's boyfriend, yes.
that it had to be better than the last video. Now, this was...
So that's something I have. I think if you're somebody who's a creative and you like making videos, like I am a traditionally trained filmmaker, right? I went to film school. I talk about it all the time. I feel recently, and since I started having a day job related to my degree, claps in the chat for somebody finally getting a job related to their degree. But ever since that happened, I started going, wow, I'm not where I want to be creatively and professionally. Which, by the way, that's always a moving goalpost. You never reach that level. I know that. But if you're a creative and you like making art as much as you like making videos, yeah, you do end up in this position where every video wants to be better than the last. I've constantly tried to up my production on my videos, but also hit and maintain this really busy schedule. So it's hard. I don't have time to like learn new
Diesel,
skills.
You need to show up to work. Saying you didn't show up because you fell asleep is not good enough. We need you to clock into work every day for overtime. Okay?
You guys, listen, I don't show up to stream and I go, oh God, I'm poor now. because it's like the fun thing about streaming is this communal aspect, but then the frustrating part is that I have to be present all the time. You know what I mean? Like, the good thing about videos is that I could step away, right? Was there an indie filmmaker that you wanted to sit down and talk to, or had a chance to talk and follow? Man, it's been a while. I've kind of moved away from like being like a fan of certain creators. My busy schedule. Camera jump cuts to the same blank calendar. God. Oh, best video slap I found, which explains how Netflix moved over. Okay. I will take a look at that one after this. But thank you for that, Falchi. But you always want to do something better. And you always have to be online. So you can't improve your skills because you always have to grind the meat in the meat grinder. Right? It's hard to meet that level, but you constantly have to keep going for it. So it's hard to get better, but you always got to be present. And that makes channels that do big videos really hard to maintain. I can tell you that the drama community resonates a lot more with streaming and donating through streaming than through Patreon. I can't maintain a living doing just video essays on the main channel with Patreon. I wouldn't make a living with it. It wasn't work. I've tried to make it work. It doesn't work. It's just not something that resonates with my audience. So I shouldn't keep pushing it because it's just not going to lead to any results for me. Right. So I found that this was just a better way to raise funds to make videos on the main channel. But I haven't turned a profit on any of those videos in like a long time, like a year. And I'm fine with that because I put a lot of effort in here and that makes it feasible. But it's just a byproduct of how the business works, right? Because it's more economical to do this versus do that.
Wasn't always the case. It's not like I fulfilled that every single time, but I always felt the pressure of that idea. And I made this channel with the explicit reasoning that I didn't want that pressure anymore. And that's
another thing. I think when you make big videos, you feel this pressure to perform. Right? You feel this pressure to perform, and I know for me personally, that made me feel like shit. And it was really hard to keep that going. It was mentally draining because you'd sit there and you'd bang out a video and you're like, oh, I've been doing this for 4 months. And then you put out the video and then nobody watches it. And you're like, I'm a fraud. I'm a failure. I'm going to jump. I'm going to play in traffic. I'm going to go step in front of this train. It's a terrible feeling. You notice how much content there is on this channel? You notice how much I stream on this channel, which I know my schedule is shit and I'm working on it. Obviously, I've gotten a lot better with it since this new year has started. But there's no pressure here. There's no pressure here for me to sit down and do a stream. I'm just sitting here talking to you. I'm just going, I like jerking off. Like, that's it. And everybody's like, good job. He said it. He said the line. Right? There's something really, if you're an artist and you like to draw, let's say you're working on a really big painting. What feels easier to do? Like simple sketches, right? Unfinished pieces, of course, exist, right? But like there's a level of work that you put it into some drawings that's way higher than others. And then there's stuff that's like, it's not as high. And then this is just not as high effort. It really isn't. It's not high effort. I know it's not.
It didn't really matter whether the last video was better or worse than the next one.
And when you put out that many videos, you don't feel bad about videos doing bad. But when you put out one video a month and that video does bad, you're like, I hate myself. I can't even begin to describe that feeling. I know it's very unhealthy, but this business breeds that kind of mentality. So you got to just be like, okay, I'm not going to look at it. I know it's doing bad. I'm just not going to look at it. I'm proud of the work I did and then step away from it.
I'm just making videos that I want to make. And they're intentionally simple to make. I get on Discord with a friend and I look at something. Maybe I look at something by myself. Maybe it's just an edited down stream. But recently I've seen a couple of comments and a couple of posts on Reddit that got me thinking. Is the stuff that I make on this channel slop? Now, some of you...
And I gotta say that the term slop is kind of just annoying. I think when a lot of people complain about slop content, they kind of ignore the human aspect of it. I mean, Jack Manifold, I know he's been talking for 39 seconds, but, you know, he's explaining why he does it is that he doesn't feel pressure to it. He's just doing it because he feels like it, right? And, you know, that's really interesting, I think, personally, because that's honestly a much more healthy relationship to have with the content you create, right? Because a lot of the people who make content on YouTube feel a little bit of an artistic edge to them, even if they're just like, you know, cringe little Minecraft YouTubers. But you feel like you don't feel that pressure.
I look at the screen bewildered at this.
Genuine question, why is slop content a bad thing? I mean, sometimes it's kind of what I want. Sometimes I don't want to have to think. That's why. They say that it's like not... Basically, it's like they're trying to like... Some people will argue it's content that's not mentally stimulating or that it's not doing anything, right? But I'd argue that, yeah, you don't want to think. It's just fast food, yeah.
Point. Because you may think, Jack, what the f do you mean is this slop? And honestly, it's a good question because I don't think I can give you a definitive answer.
I don't know. We've put such a... YouTubers are putting increasingly high standards on main channel videos, and it's causing them to not want to do main channel videos and move to content on things that are easier, on channels that are different, on stuff that doesn't give them as much pressure or angst or anxiety. And honestly, I think that's good. I think creators need to have a better relationship mentally with the content that they create. And if they do that through slop content, fine. Now, obviously, we can talk about the detrimental effects it has on a viewer's audience. But from a creator standpoint, doing quote-unquote slop content has been better for my mental health. It just has.
The term slop is a sort of recent one that just gets thrown around on the internet now. Many people refer to their second channels as their slop channels, where they make the easy stuff. I mean, it literally, like, in its actual...
There's nothing... And again, I don't think there's, like, anything wrong with making something easy. Why? Like, I get it. I love making hard things. But, like, I should be allowed to not have to put that much pressure on myself all the time. I enjoy the process of video making enough that I don't have to constantly do something crazy all the time. Plus, one of the things with doing big videos, you don't get as much practice, right? Who gets better at making pots? The guy who makes 100 small pots or the one guy who makes one ginormous pot? The guy who makes 100 small pots.
Definition just means like liquid, tasteless food. It's the stuff that you feed like pigs or livestock. But when using this internet context, I suppose the idea is that the content you are making is like the...
Yeah, Rinna is talking about Andy Warhol, and she is saying he pushed for the idea that not all art has to be thought-provoking and it can just be fun to look at. It paved the way for pop art. Yeah, that's true.
Bare minimum. It's this sort of flavorless...
Not everything has to be something outrageous. I get it. I know a lot of YouTubers want to be mainstream celebrities. A lot of them want to make movies, okay? Like, sometimes you just want to make stuff to make stuff.
Shit that...
Do you think this is just a wave of hurt egos? Like, people complaining about this, or the people sat there thinking, shit, I could have done this first? I don't know. I think some artist integrity. When you're a young artist or an artist in general, you have this mentality. I won't sell out. I won't become less than. I'm not going to let the culture dictate my art. I move by the beat of my own drum. I don't think it's people mad that they're not getting bread. I think for a lot of creators that don't make slop, that make long video essays, I think a lot of them are very full. They have very high standards creatively. And as a result, they get annoyed, right? When they don't. Let me think about that for a second. Like an artist can get everything that they want in life, right? If they don't cave to anything. And that's a really admirable thing. But being an artist and doing it as a career requires you to make sacrifice. And a lot of people struggle with making that sacrifice. And they want to set the standards for other artists. But it's art, so there's no standards. Honestly, any creative field has the same discourse. Like, so many people complain about dumb songs being in Eurovision, but like, it's what the people voted for. Sometimes we want dumb songs. Yeah, I know that the YouTube having this discourse right now has happened in many other places. I'm not going to say YouTube videos are high art, but there is an artistic talent to YouTube videos, and there are YouTube videos that could be artful videos.
Your audience just consumes. And I'll be honest, I don't really like that idea. Now, as I said, I don't want this channel to be highbrow particularly. This is my second channel, and although right now it's the only place I'm posting because the main channel's on hiatus, that will be rectified one day. And when that day comes, this is going to be the place for the simpler stuff. The stuff that I can guarantee I can churn out at a regular cycle. My workflow is ever changing. Some weeks I'm really busy. Some weeks
You should keep high standards for yourself if you want. But if you attack other creators for not having the same standards, you're just an ass. Well, that's a lot of how that kind of like art discourse goes anyway, right? They're like, my standards are this. Why aren't your standards that?
really free. And with the type of content I'm making over here, that sort of reaction commentary type stuff, I can guarantee that I can make one a week. I have that time. But on the occasion I've done more highbrow stuff like the vlogs or the more artsy stuff, I can't guarantee I always have time for that. Some of these are real productions that need camera people and lighting and locations and like there's so many moving factors. And on some weeks, if I have like a podcast double recording or I have an event, I can't guarantee that's going to get made. I can guarantee that I can get on Discord and look at a funny video with friends. But I'll be honest, even recently that's kind of slipped, where it's just been recycled live streams. I'll be completely transparent. I'm going away to Japan in like a few days as of this video being uploaded for 2 weeks. And then after I get back, I'm home for like a week before I go on tour for another 6 weeks. I'm away for like...
So he's like gone, right? So it's like YouTube prioritizes that you're constantly uploading, right? So even if I take a break, which by the way, it's been a really long time since I've taken a break, but like a real break, not me like getting ill or something outrageously bad happening to me. I mean like just a fucking vacation. White man goes to Japan moment, but I couldn't not say that. That came out like a fucking like autism tick or something. Right? But you know, we have all these other responsibilities, but we always have to constantly keep making YouTube videos. Well, guess what? Now it's fucking live stream edits. You know, what? Like I have the live stream edits that I have in the docket for days that I know I'm not streaming, for days that I know that I can't make content on.
2 months. My schedule doesn't exactly slow down when I get back either. So I'm doing like the most filming I've ever done to make sure our podcast and this second channel is backlogged to cover that break. And I have let the quality slip a little.
because you're not allowed to step away. If you step away, your channel will just die, right? Because it's like, oh, this channel isn't putting out content. Let me not put out stuff to viewers.
Over here. The last couple of videos have just been recycled live streams of me looking at like Instagram Reels or TikToks. And I'll be honest, they're not the best I've ever made. I don't think they're bad. They're fine. But they're just that. They're slop. And I just want to make a promise now that although I can't guarantee that there'll never be another video like that again.
But like, I don't know. I feel like especially, I don't know, Jack's opinion, I get it. And he's allowed to have it because it's his own content. But I think And I think it's okay for the audience to dictate what a YouTuber makes, right? That's part of the aspect of like, I make something, you respond. I make something, you respond, right? That's how it works. But also, it's like, in the same breath, you can't be so captive to your audience that you are forced to do something or you feel bad for doing something.
I mean, you know what? Fuck it. I actually kind of enjoy.
You don't have to shit out content if it's your viewers watch consistently. If your viewers watch consistently, whether it's once a day or once a month. Yeah, I don't know, but you don't make a living uploading once a month, period. You don't make a living uploading once a month. Yeah, it'd be great if my viewers watched everything I put out on the main channel that comes out once a month. Okay, but a lot of those people come in for one video and they don't watch another video. It's just not reasonable to expect that of people because content's so fleeting. You sit down, you watch one video, and then you never subscribe to them and you move on to the next, right? Because you're like on your recommended page or you're in your subscription feed and you don't really get fed new content like that.
Enjoy looking at Instagram Reels. I'm going to guarantee you now that there's not going to be much of it. It's going to be occasional. It's going to be when I really can't afford to do anything else. Unlike recently where it's been a little back-to-back. I mean, it's been split up with the vlogs, but not everyone's watching those. I realize some people are only here for the stuff they're used to, and the stuff they're used to has been the lower.
Streaming is funny, a funny thing because of tipping. Streaming is more personality-driven, like reality TV. And when you admit that to yourself, you can experiment around it. That's my view on it. Well, it's like streaming is so based around like I guess I would agree. You know, it's so based around personality that people, for the most part, as long as it's drama related, people are willing to sit down and listen to what I have to say. If I do streams that aren't really drama related, nobody really shows up, but that's fine. And I expect that. And I've built an audience who wants to see that. Right.
Right. So I apologize. But in a way, I'm kind of glad that I had this experience. One, it told me what you guys kind of expect from me. I saw the point at which people started making comments about this sort of stuff. I saw the point at which...
But like this attitude of being like, okay, he's doing stream edits. Well, it's like, okay, a lot of people don't watch the full VODs of my streams. So if I put out stream highlights, it's like, whatever. It's just me cutting the faff. You know, like I'm not going to include me drinking this cup of coffee on my stream highlight, right? I'm going to take out the extra fluff that's there. I have the question. Why are vlogs considered slop content? It's literally just some fucker walking around talking into a camera 90% of the time.
Like, the content goes from being reaction fun stuff, where I actually add a little bit, to being just stuff. And
well,
also,
the problem with the slop discourse is that nobody's really defined it well, other than being like content that's easy to consume and offers little value, right? I think that's the easiest way to describe it. But then things that do offer, like, the value is relative, right? So when we say something slop, we're saying this is valueless, right? But other people would say that they find value in that. Like, people will sit down and watch my stream highlights and they say they find value in that, versus people who don't watch the stream highlights, watch the streams live, and then figure that the stream highlights are not of value to them. And then there's random strangers who say, I'd rather just watch Jack Manifold's video, right? But I would argue that you're not watching the stream for Jack Manifold's opinion. You're watching for my opinion about Jack Manifold's opinion.
Taught me a lot about the internet on the whole right now. And this is kind of what the rest of this video is going to be about. You see, I'd say I'm really not the only person that is...
Didn't they call slop tea like 6 months ago? Tea is something else entirely. That's the problem.
Done this. There are some creators who do this full time for a living, this like slop content. And there's no shame in that if that's what you want to do. I just realized it's not what I want to do. And yet, despite that, here I've been doing it. And look, people talk about the internet changing all the time and how it's different from what it used to be. But this is the first time I've ever really realized exactly...
I think a lot of creators are kind of like growing up and then realizing that the content they made when they were younger has changed, right? And content on YouTube has changed quite a lot. You guys remember when PewDiePie was the #1 YouTuber, right? This audience skews a little older, so we probably fucking remember that, right? The content that was being produced on YouTube, on PewDiePie's channel, was a lot simpler than the content that was being produced on Mr. Beast's channel. There's a standard that Mr. Beast ends up setting for content on YouTube, and it categorically changed how content is interacted with on a high level on YouTube. This stuff, Jack Manifold stuff on this channel, right? Even on his main channel, right? Because we're talking like Jack Manifold's like what, 2 mil?
You've left him.
Like 2 mil, yeah, 1.8 mil. This high effort content, it's different. It's just different, and it requires such a high level to put into it. But even here, this stuff doesn't look like it spends as much. But I can tell you how Mr. Beast has influenced Jack Manifold's main channel, right? You look at these thumbnails. A lot of these thumbnails and thumbnail stylings are pioneered by how Mr. Beast used the YouTube system to develop thumbnails and change how we interact with content. Because a thumbnail is your first experience with that stuff, okay? And like Jack Manifold's not even at that level, but if we look at someone like, we'll do like Eric. Eric has 15 million subs. Right? I also think he had some drama a long time ago where his ass fucking went broke or something. But he is I would argue he is a beast-like YouTuber. And the content that gets exposed to the most amount of people on YouTube is not Jack Manifold. It is not FPS Diesel. It is not Diesel IRL. It is not Turkey Tom. It is not Pyrocynical. That content does not reach the people that we are talking about here. The content that reaches normal people, the people who watch the Super Bowl and were really interested in Kendrick, right? And fucking people who enjoy the Marvel TV shows. I don't know, maybe I'm describing you right now, right? Those the normies, you guys remember the Gen Z boss in a mini, like those fucking Zoomer office worker women, right? They're not watching this. They're not watching me. All right? They're watching like channels that are this size. All right? They're looking at Kai Cenat. All right? They're looking at things that are not this. This is my recommended on my main. Okay? They're not being exposed to the Lines on Maps guy who covers game theory. Right? They're not listening to fucking RPG reviews. They're watching you. Diesel, you're literally Gen Alpha brained, right? But they're not watching fucking Gerald Undone, who does mechanical reviews of fucking cameras, all right? They're watching Kai Cenat. They're watching Queso, okay? They're watching things that are completely different. They're looking at the recommended on a fresh channel that has nothing on it. That's true, yeah, and it'll develop things in time. But the stuff that'll get exposed to them is not the stuff that we're getting exposed to. A lot of us have a really long history on the internet. They watch what is popular because it's popular, which is fine, yeah. But the Slop discourse is about video essayists complaining that some video essayists have a second channel and some people don't want to watch that content. I get it. I'm not trying to tell people on FPS Diesel to watch Diesel IRL. I want them to because fucking hell, it would make me more money, but like I can't get them to do it.
Exactly what that is. And this is the conclusion I came to. On pretty much all social media now, most people, the majority of people posting on there are not there to make art anymore.
Which is true. Social media, you can post art on social media, and I think you still should. I think that you should still do stuff for you. I think you should still create. I think you should still put it out there, right? But you should be able to go into different things with different intentions, right? If you want to make a YouTube channel that is a creative project, and you have a specific through line that you want on it, do it, get it done, and not everybody will be exposed to it, but some people will, and that should be fine, right? But if you want to make it a living doing content, you need to be more strategic about it.
They're there to make content. And that may seem obvious because content is the word everybody uses these days as well. It's not like this has been a secret. It's just
I don't know. I think there's a bit of a different, like, you shouldn't be only making content if you're interested in making art, right? And then if you only make content, you should try and make some art. I think you should, because I think it'll just be good for the soul. But like, it's so ridiculous, honestly. And I know it's a take. Everything with money in mind is what makes it slop when it comes to social media, anyway. Yeah, see, and what makes it frustrating, though, is that people, I think you should be allowed to make a living and not have to, like, be saying something. Okay? You don't need to put something online and say something outrageous. Something could just be online because it's fun, or just for the sake of it. Like, like, the fact that like, you always need to have something to say is a little ridiculous.
I guess it's a change I never saw happening. I never noticed this transition from people who were coming onto the internet to make genuine creative passion projects to people who were making content to, you know, fulfill their audience and pay their bills. And that might not seem like a huge deal or maybe even a big difference, but I think that mindset shift is the reason the internet feels so different from what it did 10, even like 5 years ago. Now, the point I'm about to make, I've already spoken on in this video here. So I'd encourage you to go watch that if you want my full thoughts. But when I started watching YouTube like 12 years ago now, the content was original and creative. And the things that were...
I think I would argue it was less creative than you think. I'd argue it's less creative and original than you think. I think if we're talking about 12 years ago, you're looking at it through a lens of nostalgia. You know, a lot of the content that was produced on YouTube is kind of fulfilling the same thing that the content is now. Okay? Like, if we go back to the Let's Play era, there was PewDiePie, there was Markiplier, there was Jacksepticeye, and there was 400 other people in line behind them, all doing the same thing. All doing the same thing because they were making money. Okay? And I get that. And then maybe those people were enjoying it.
Sorry, my brigger, that change happened when YouTube started paying people thousands to make content.
It's like, I don't know. It really does sound like Jack Manifold's talking about it with rose-tinted glasses, but the content that was being produced for the quote-unquote slop back then is the same as the slop now. The thing is now it's reaction content. Right? It's reaction content. But years ago, it might have been still reaction content and Let's Plays, right? Let's Plays don't really resonate with people anymore. I don't really see that as much these days. But maybe that's because I aged out of it as a demographic. But it's literally the same.
Big were the most original and the most creative things. Albeit a lot of it was very stupid. But it was fresh, I suppose. And what that did is it encouraged creators to try things. When you see the...
But doing new things, doing something different, does not always equal success either. The guys that you saw get successful either got incredibly lucky or somehow fit the golden goose magical moment of creative, original, and successful. But for most people, that is not the reality. That's not what happens. That's not what makes industry, like, that's not what makes successful people in any film, like any creative industry, really. Like the film industry in particular. It's not built on the backs of completely creative individuals who are all making original things. Most stories you watch are not original, and that's fine. That's fine that stories aren't original.
Top thing is something so strange that no one could have thought of it in their wildest dreams. Your wild, crazy thoughts feel like there's something that might work. But now all I hear from other creators or see on...
I think the problem he meant was that there was joy in making content instead of nowadays where you feel... Well, the thing is, it's like, I think that's an interesting point, Nightmare Reaper, right? I think when you make this a job, your ideas behind it change because the stakes change. You know what made me stream more consistently? And it was a huge stake changer when it happened. I have 2 editors now. I want to make sure those editors get paid. That consistent. It's still more. If we listen, do we need to pull up the numbers? Do we need to pull up the numbers here? I stream more. Let's not even beat around the bush, right? But the moment money entered the equation, I was like, oh fuck. I need to make sure I do this because other people rely on me. Like, I can't just make whatever the fuck I want. There are other people that rely on me. You know, like pretty much all channels that you see that have over like 100,000 to more probably are starting to develop like there's more than one person. There just is. I know that there's a lot of channels that do it and they're just the sole proprietor of everything. But film and creating content like this has always been kind of collaborative. So it's no surprise that there are other people that are working on this stuff. Editing, writing, researching. You know, there's a lot. There's a lot.
On YouTube, or even nearly slipped into myself, is this Slop pipeline. And there's a
Here is your payment for the month. Have your editors do a battle royale to decide who gets the money.
It's not about originality, it's how much you like it and how well it performed. Good media is not criticized for being unoriginal, even if it's a rehashed story. Yeah.
really simple reason for this. The videos that perform the best are these Slop videos. I mean, look at my channel. All the biggest videos are Instagram Reels reactions. I mean, admittedly, all the ones first of the videos were J-Slap. But then after, you get the point. And when I have pushed the boat out and tried something new and more creative, although the comments are lovely and the people that do see it really enjoy it, the views are halved. And you don't want to sit here and focus on those as a creator, because at the end of the day, you should be fulfilled by your creative ventures and just seeing that anyone enjoyed them. I mean, at the end of the day, when...
See, I understand what kind of mentality, like, I get it. You want to have content that is like creative and interesting and to be rewarded for it. But the thing is like, not everything is gonna be that creative thing. You should do it. I'm not saying stop, but like there's negative consequences for everything. You make slop content, you're like, I feel creatively unfulfilled. You make creative content, you're like, this is done great, but it made no money. You know, but it's just, these are things you got to balance.
50k people watch a video. That's 50,000 people who watched it. I can't comprehend that amount of people. The video I did the other week about supercars, that in my opinion did not perform very well, had as many people watch it as one show at the Taylor Swift Eras Tour. Have you ever been there? Have you ever been to that arena? It's electric.
I work hard so my cat can have a better life, but your cat is your editors.
But the YouTube dashboard and the constant...
Every artist has thousands of whips. It's normal. I can imagine it's the same for YouTube. Yeah, I just trashed the video that I had written out. I took it off my to-do list because I was like, this is not good. And I just got rid of it.
Down hours comparing you to your previous videos, and the YouTube homepage with Mr. Beast with like 100 million views a video makes you feel like that's tiny. And not only that, but your income's directly linked to how many people...
Yeah, but like, this is the thing, and I think it's important for creators to know. The way that this whole like universe of the internet is built skews your perception of things, which is true, and he's mentioning that, but then he's feeling like this pressure to perform. But it's like you need to develop a healthy relationship with the content you're putting out. Like, I'm not worried about certain stream highlights underperforming because people show up for the live, and in my opinion, a live stream viewer is worth a lot more than a view on YouTube, because a view on YouTube is counted after about 5 seconds.
Watch the video, and no one wants.
But that's just how it is, right? And you know, I get not wanting to be money focused, but you need to, if you're going to be an artist or a creator online, right? Multimedia, doing whatever the fuck you want to call it. You need to realize that you need to figure out how to balance creating for yourself versus creating for others. Or if YouTube is all you do, get a hobby that you are not going to monetize and turn into a business.
To be money focused, but everyone has bills. And as I get older and I get more responsibilities and I start to try and progress.
But yeah, that's like, it's fine to be like, I need to be the responsible adult and make the content that makes me money because there's responsibilities involved.
my life into the next chapters, that's important. More important than when I was 17. And I know that pretty much every other YouTuber feels the same way. And yet,
But like, this is this is like YouTubers have this personal problem, but from my perspective as somebody who teaches artists and works with artist job placement, this is part of growing up. Like, this is literally just part of growing up. You know, it's figuring out, like, okay, I want to do art for a living. Okay, well, that comes with some caveats to it, right? You can't always paint a beautiful fresco. Sometimes you have to do the commercial art on the side of a Pizza Hut wall.
we all feel unfulfilled by it. And the audience in the comments don't seem to like the videos either. But then you get caught in this question. If the
And I think part of it is YouTubers will also notice negative comments more frequently. I'd guarantee that the like to dislike ratio is just fine on those videos. Probably is just fine. The only reason you recognize those comments is because you went through it. You read them.
audience don't like it, and the creators don't like it,
But it's just like, why is it getting more views? Because the people that don't like it are gonna be more vocal about it. But it's just like, this is just a byproduct of how how people respond to negativity.
is it getting more views? It makes you consider whether the change is not in the creators, but in the consumption of social media. It's a real chicken and egg situation. Like, did YouTubers start making more and more slop over the years, forcing consumers to watch more?
They were always making slop. They're always making slop. You just noticed now because you got older. You got older and noticed how the fucking sausage is made. This is normal. This is normal. People have always made slop. There has been nothing original, and that's fine. That's fine. Nobody's asking you to reinvent the wheel as an artist. No one's asking you to reinvent the wheel as a creator. That is not your position in society. Nobody is asking that of anybody. The only person putting that on you is you.
Of it? Or did consumers start watching more of it, forcing creators to make more of it? I don't know. And with no one seeming to be happy with the situation, there's no indicator. I suppose another thing that crosses my mind as to why
this almost feels like it's like a generational like angst or pain about like not getting to do the thing you want. Right? And I get it. I really do. I get not being able to make the things you want. I want to make a film. I do, right? It's why I went to fucking film school. But that's not what makes a film person's career. Okay? Like, I don't know what to tell you. You know, I know as a DP, I'm a director of photography. That's what I specialized in, right? I want to work on the next big thing, right? Who doesn't? I want to be able to determine how that thing looks. But that's not going to pay the bills, right? What pays the bills is me doing a corporate video with a corporate client. What pays the bills is me doing a commercial with a, you know, with some industry. What pays the bills is me going and doing an event, right? I want one thing, and that's great, and you should. But if you want to do this for a living, you got to realize that you can't just always do the thing you always want to do. Right? It's about falling in love with the process, right? I know everybody talks about that. Oh, you got to fall in love with the process, blah, 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 right? And it's like, I just like editing, really. So I'll edit too, right? I know my editors edit, but I edit as well. And it's a fun process, but I'm not asking for something like particular.
This might have happened is the fact that this is a career now. 10 years ago when people were doing this, there was only just money being introduced into it. Everyone was doing it as a hobby. No one had aspirations of doing any.
See, I think people also wanted to do YouTube for the fame. I think if there was no money, people would still be making slop content, quote unquote, because they want the attention. Because recognition by peers is such a high motivator for people. Right? And I think for people who are creative in any sense of the word, even if you're making slop content, which does require a level of technical proficiency and creativity, right? They still would have been fishing for it. They still would have been fishing for it. Because I just can't imagine a world where people aren't reaching for things because they want to be seen by others.
Anything more. Maybe it just started, but people really believed that they were going to make their living doing exactly what they loved. And now people...
Exactly. People, let me go back and listen to that again.
This might have happened is the fact that this is a career now. 10 years ago when people were doing this, there was only just money being introduced into it. Everyone was doing it as a hobby. No one had aspirations of doing anything more. Maybe it just started, but people really believed that they were going to make their living doing exactly what they love.
And that's a beautiful thing to think you're going to be making a living doing exactly what you love, but that's kid shit. Okay? You're living in a fantasy. All right? I understand that a lot of us when we were younger, we thought the same thing. I did too. But that is not how the world works. And I understand, why can't the world work like that? I get it. And I'm sorry, I'm not that genius. But the world that we live in now, that's a fantasy. And it'll never be true. And that's okay. You just got to figure out how to manage your expectations, do some of what you love, but then also do enough to keep the lights on. And that's okay. And you can do both. I think a lot of people feel bad doing slop content because they think, oh, this is something else. I can't do this. Diesel is coping. Speaking of slop creators, Kristen Ark, old man crushing a young man's dreams. I like, there's a lot of Zoomers who like seem to think otherwise.
And now people see this as a career option. I mean, look at like statistics coming out of schools. When you ask kids what they want to be when they grow up, they say YouTuber. Like,
well, that's just because people keep putting iPads in front of their children. I think that would change very quickly if. And also, I think a lot of the reason people say that is because their perception as kids of what they think a YouTuber is totally different. Because remember, like I said, those young kids aren't being exposed to Diesel. They're being exposed to Mr. Beast. And when you see the guy who gives out millions of dollars and has a fucking island, like, that's a different perception, right? So Diesel, your job is to help artists find work and make a living. I was under the impression that you taught film. Well, that's all part of it. That's all part of it, right? So we teach the basics of film to underprivileged youth. And then part of the job requirement is that we teach them the soft skills for job placement. And assuming they do well, we become recommendations on their resume. And we help them develop their resumes and professional portfolios to go and work in the arts industries.
a lot of the time, this is a job now. And some people look at it that way, wholly. They don't see it as a creative outlet so much as a creative job. A fun
That's totally fine.
job, sure. But as a job generally has, with constraints. Many people go into this seeing the categories of YouTubers that exist and try and fit a mold instead of making a mold like people used to. And
this guy is actually... How old is Jack Manifold? How old is Jack Manifold? Is he going through a quarter life crisis? Because this sounds like me when I was in my quarter life crisis. I think 20. Early 20s. No, because he fought at Creator Clash. Yeah, he's 22 years old. This guy was barely conscious. He was barely conscious for the birth of YouTube in 2006. You know? He's going through a quarter life crisis. This is the quarter life crisis conversation he's having right now. He's having a quarter life crisis conversation. Because it's like the things he's describing are fucking normal. A creative industry, a creative job is fun. Okay? Yeah, I know about the fucking dating show, Chris. Yes.
positive of that, I suppose, is as more people do this and lay out the path, more people...
Most kids want to do something until they actually have to do it. I wanted to be a ballerina until I was put in dance classes and hated the effort and commitment. Have you seen Clown's video on it? Yes. Dude, it's like kids don't realize the amount of effort that a job requires.
People look at that path and are able to break into it. It's accessible now. It's easy.
The hell is a quarter life crisis? School graduation. A quarter life crisis is something that is real. A quarter life crisis is real, but it is the crisis of accomplishing what is expected of a kid, of a young adult, and achieving that, but then realizing that it's either not what they wanted or that they don't feel like they have a place, right? So, like, for example, a person goes to college, they graduate about 23, 24, and they get out of it. And that place is like, okay, you're out, and now the training wheels are off, right? And you need to find a place to work. And you're expected to be as professional as your peers who are in their 40s. And you may do the job now, and you feel that it's not what you really wanted. And then you think, oh God, I'm going to do this until I'm 70. And then you go, holy shit, I don't think I really know what to do with myself for the rest of my life, right? But it's something that people go through when they're trying to find out where they fit in, right? And I'm describing it poorly. There are psychologists that describe it better than me. But generally, it's like this feeling of like, I don't know where to put myself, or I don't know what to do with myself, right? So some people, they find that through like military, religion. Young people go do something stupid with their life that might, result in some detrimental effects to the rest of their life for the next 10 years. But and then you die from the genetic defects because you're a clone. Thank you, Solid Snake. That's very true. That happened to me. I was singing, doing the opera thing, and got to the point in my life where I realized how unfulfilled I was, and then got cancer. It hits us all at different times. Yeah, it only denotes like the quarter life crisis is like a very like general age. Like some of you are like, I didn't have that happen to me, and if you didn't, congratulations. But also, man, you're like not out of the woods until you're like 30 mid 30s. And by the way, the midlife crisis, same exact thing. Same exact fucking thing. But it's about like, what's my place in the world? What am I leaving behind? And am I, like, what happens when I die? Have I done anything worth of value in the first 40 years of my existence?
Easier to do something when you've...
Yeah, emerging adulthood is a spot that we still need to study. A lot of nurses I know swapped from another job because they hated it. Yeah, emerging adulthood is like an actual phase in development. But yeah, that still needs more study. This is like a very early days of like talking about something in psychology, right? But yeah, it does sound to me like Jack is describing himself having a quarter life crisis, right? It's like, I'm young, I'm a kid, I like to make content, I want to be a YouTuber. Grows up, becomes a YouTuber, realizes that the job has all these responsibilities. I don't really like where this YouTube job is at. It's not really good. I don't really like where things are at right now. That's a quarter life crisis.
Seen people do it before. But that leads on the consumer side to us seeing a lot of the same old. And it feels to me that people are more interested in innovating.
But I like Jack's idea that like content is like all the same thing now is crazy, because back in the day it was the same fucking thing.
In the way of profit than they are in the way of creativity and fun. I'm not trying to be a hip.
Why not quit and get a different career then? That's a really, really high risk decision, which is why it takes a while to make that decision. You can't just quit because jobs are hard to come by and mighty, mighty expensive.
hypocrite here. I've done it. We've all done it. As I said earlier, this is my job. But I think we hold a responsibility to strike a balance as creators. At least if we want to keep our audience satisfied.
It could be we're experiencing the first generation of YouTubers that started and became popular as kids and grew into YouTube adult creators. I think that's part of why we're seeing the slop discourse now. I think that's a lot of why we're seeing the slop discourse now. I think you're right on the money with that.
And I'll be honest, I don't have the solution to this problem. I don't know how to reduce the slop online, because I get the appeal as to why it is prominent on both sides. It's like the same reason that shows like Family Guy are still running and have been for like nearly 30 years. They're easy consumption. Over the years, life has gotten more and more stressful for people. People work longer hours and get less pay. Stress is high, and most people want to unwind at the end of the day. And something really, really simple that you can switch your brain off and just chuckle along to is pleasant. I mean, I fall victim to it all the time. You know, I catch myself on Instagram Reels scrolling even when I'm not recording. Even if I don't want to. Even if I'd rather say that I was watching some high piece of art, some amazing movie. I catch myself in these cycles. So maybe the problem isn't with the way we consume or create media, but the way we live our lives and what we now look for in our escapism. Maybe as life becomes more complicated, our media becomes simpler. But that longing for something...
I wonder what the media theorist's take on that is. When I was in college, I took a lot of media theory classes. I wonder what the rate of like viewership is on more simple media. You know, I think a lot of people generally fall towards comfort content to relax. And I do see a lot of older folk watch stuff I would consider comfort content. Right? Like Cheers. I mean, Cheers ain't, I mean, it's old, but it's not like that old in the grand scheme of things. It's in color. But, you know, people generally like falling into watching that content. You know, like, I wonder what that rate is. I wonder how it is that people engage with that media.
with more substance tell
YouTubers complaining about the slopification seem to be the content creator's ego death. I'm very interested on what this is like from a psychological perspective, dude.
me that that isn't what we want. I don't think I've met a single person who says that slop is good, other than anyone looking.
I think it's just that the people who are controlling the conversation aren't the people engaging with the content. You know? I think a lot of people sit down and watch the content because it's to turn their brain off, which is fine. You know, not all content needs to engage with you on the same mental level, right? So it's not necessarily good or bad, but what you really make of it.
To line their pockets. Look, I'm not going to tell you to stop consuming it. I'm not going to stop, and I'm not going to stop.
Thanks, Diesel, calling Cheers not too old because it's in color. Have made a bit of mild anxiety at the realization I'm old. Maybe the problem isn't that I'm too busy traveling or touring to produce high effort content. Maybe the problem is how you live your life. Damn, bro, turned it around like that. That's also a very good point. I think Jack Manifold is putting himself under a lot of young person's pressure to perform. And part of his fear is producing content anywhere that's bad, even though he can't be making high effort content right now.
Creating it completely. I definitely want to raise the standard of what I'm creating on this channel a bit. When I look even 4 months ago when I did the video with Baby No Money or with James Marriott, those were just a little bit more original and a little bit more me than the stuff recently. And that's enough for me. That's all I want to do. This can still be light entertainment. And I think people want that. Honestly, I think everyone just needs to find their balance. I can't believe I'm saying such a stupid sentence, but slop is a spectrum. If you put like baby sensory videos on one end and like
I feel like this is personal.
timer at the other, everything sits between them. And at any given point, someone might want to watch something at some point on the spectrum. And it's all to do with their age and their taste and their lives. So really, there's a space.
So why did you spend all that time bitching and moaning if you were gonna be that non-combative about it at the end? Like, it's like, what, like, he's been very much like, this slop content thing is a problem, and then he ends with, well, you know, different strokes for different folks. It's just like, I'd much rather an artist be like, I don't fucking want this. I don't like this. This bothers me. Than be like, I don't like this. I don't fucking like this. Enjoy what you want. You know, because it's like, as a YouTuber, you're a tastemaker, right? You're showing your taste to other people, being like, I don't like this slop content. But then at the end, you're like, hey, you know, whatever. And also, by the way, Oppenheimer being on one end of the slop spectrum is really funny. Because it's just like, I love the idea that cinema itself is like this high effort, highbrow art, because it's fucking not. Have you guys ever watched a Medea movie? Okay. Have you ever watched a scary movie? Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle? Okay. We're like, dude.
For everyone. But I can't help but feel that we're just a little bit too close to this end of the spectrum. But I have faith. I think the more and more I hear the sense,
I can't even begin to tell you how fucking far and distant it is. I have found something funny. It's two soy channels arguing over the show The Boondocks. Boondocks is based. Boondocks is closer to Oppenheimer on the slop spectrum.
it's when everything's getting a little too sloppy. I feel like that brings us closer to returning to the golden age. The age where
This whole golden age thing of YouTube is imaginary. It's imaginary. You're imagining a thing, okay? You're imagining an event at a time and a place, okay? This whole golden age thing is fucking corny. This isn't real. That's not real. It's rose-tinted glasses. You're looking at it with nostalgia. I'm sorry. You need to grow up. YouTube's always been filled with unoriginal content. That's fine. That's normal. That's what YouTube is. Broadcast yourself. Guess what? Everybody that broadcasts themselves ain't original. Most people aren't original. There ain't an original thought in most people's heads. Have you looked at the comments? They get most of those fucking things from other people.
people's just making whatever their heart desires.
Gen Alpha is going to look back at this era of YouTube and call it the golden age. When Gen Alpha grows up, they're going to be like, holy shit, Skibbity Toilet was like the thing. Okay, well, first, Gen Alpha is going to have this moment where they're going to say Skibbity Toilet is cringe and that they didn't like it and that I can't believe that Skibbity Toilet was ever popular. And then they're going to get a little older and they're going to be like, this shit was actually funny. And did you know that this generation has their own version of Skibbity Toilet? It's going to be the same thing forever, okay? Is this Pyro? No, it's Jack Manifold, but close enough. They're both British.
The more I speak to creators, the more you hear about people with projects that they're just dying to make, itching to make if only the views were there. That can only happen for so long.
That's because they like, you need to have the capital to do something like that, and you can go do it, but you need to just like you need to be able to manage your business and art. And I think most people who are creators don't know how to do that. And I think that's a really reasonable thing to say. A lot of these motherfuckers don't know how to manage it.
Gotta reach a point where suddenly one person makes their project and it does well and it inspires everyone else to make theirs. And hey, as I say, I'm bringing back the main channel soon, and my goal for there is just to make things that my heart desires. So you never know, maybe I'm gonna be the guy to boil it all over. But it's probably not gonna be. It's probably gonna be someone with more subscribers. But that being said, please do subscribe, because the more of you that do gives me higher chances.
Baddy mushroom gets a snake.
God. Yeah, that was the same thing back in the day. It was the same thing. You guys remember that shit? Narwhal, swimming through the ocean. Na, 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 na. You guys, like, come on, dude. It's been the same shit ever, like, all the time. Have you seen the new season of Daredevil? I've been watching American Primeval on Netflix. I've heard the new season of Daredevil's pretty good, but I also really don't want to fucking buy a Disney Plus subscription.
To actually be that guy, and I would appreciate that. I'd love to go down with a legacy like that. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. This isn't a video where I have...
I think I get it. I know you want to leave you're 22. You're 22. You have plenty of time to make amazing things. All right? You don't need to worry about legacy right now. You're 22. Make stuff. Train yourself. Develop an eye. Okay? And you'll make something amazing, but you need to be older. All right? I think you could do something great at 22, but I think you'll look back at whatever you made at this age in 10 years from now, and you'll be like, holy shit, that sucked. Okay? Because I had stuff that I made when I was like 19. I thought it was amazing. But I'm 27 now, and I'm like, holy shit, that sucks. That sucks.
a conclusion to make or like an answer. This is just something that's been dancing around my mind. I think it's interesting to think about. Why has this happened? I'm not 100% sure. Someone's got the answer, I'm sure. They're probably smarter than me. Yeah, that's it for this week. As I say, as of next week, I'll be in Japan, but I've already got a couple of little bits filmed. They're a little bit interesting, so I hope you enjoy them. The Slop one.
Bro just doesn't want to be associated with the Dream SMP. I didn't even know he was from the Dream SMP. I just knew he was a Minecraft tuber. I've only known... The first time I heard of Jack Manifold was his fight at Creator Clash.
Stop. But it'll be a little tastier.
Yeah, build generational wealth and make content. Lordy, lordy. Bro's not old enough to remember when YouTube was 90% copyrighted stuff. Dude, I don't know. I think maybe this happened for some of the younger, like for some of the artists in the, like when you were younger as an artist, did you ever feel like you had a need to perform as an artist? Because I definitely felt that as a younger artist. I wanted to be able to reach like a certain level, right? Or be a certain way. But then like, and then there's also this moment when you're like a young person and you're like, I'm going to be 30. My life is over. But then you get there and you realize, holy shit, I'm actually not that old. I can keep doing things. I can keep making stuff. You know what makes you get old? You know what makes you get old? You know what makes things like fly by and you never learn anything? Like you need to sit down and learn new things because if you do that, you'll get better. Right? But like if you don't do that, yeah, of course, everything's going to slow down and nothing's going to happen in your life. Me turning 30 on the 31st of this month and preparing to die. We're so obsessed with young people's success that we seem to have forgotten that success could come at like any age and it doesn't have like a time when it stops. Like I don't like there's so much here, but I feel like creators complaining about slop and complaining about slop content are kind of complaining about themselves and having a crisis over what they want to do because the reality of what they do isn't the same as what they thought they wanted to do because there's all these responsibilities with the job and it's not just funny making and making $1 million. That's a great one. Tolkien wrote Lord of the Rings at 45. If I'm not going band for band at the age of 5, why live? Holy shit. I don't know. There's definitely like this air of like I think people need to be comfortable just making stuff and then they can make whatever they want. But until you're comfortable making slop content, I don't think you can really make good content either. Chris, for the love of Christ, I could not want to watch that less. People are so into mindset of getting rich and successful at a young age because they see people doing it. Lamau. I really think that people forgot that 2 Girls, 1 Cup and Box Fort songs were a moment on YouTube. Yeah. All right. The best video on Slop I found, which explains how Netflix moved over. This is a more Slop discourse. 30 minutes of Slop discourse.
Have you ever heard of the Cobra effect? The story goes that one time back during the days of the British Raj, the imperial government was getting worried about the number of venomous cobras in Delhi. So someone had the bright idea to offer a bounty for every dead cobra. And for a while, it seemed like the plan had worked. People handed in hundreds, thousands of dead snakes. But cobra number...
Diesel, no video, fuck.
in Delhi didn't
There.
seem to be going down. If anything, it seemed like there were more of them slithering around. Turns out, people hadn't just been hunting cobras down, they'd been breeding them for the bounty. Seeing this, the British ended the bounty program and the cobra
Professional
breeders
streamer.
set loose their farms. And so, despite that seemingly sensible bounty program, the program designed specifically to track and reward cobra culling, in the end, there were more cobras than ever. Admittedly, the historical foundation of this parable is a little shaky, but there are plenty of similar, better attested cases. Rats in Hanoi, feral pigs in the US state of Georgia. And true or not, it's a good representation of what
Remember when everyone did a mass panic on Kappa? Holy shit, I remember that. Holy shit.
economists call a perverse incentive.
Yeah, I remember. I talked to Raymundo about his slop video in private.
That is, an incentive structure that might be set up to produce desirable results on paper, but gives undesirable results in reality. Boiling down a situation this complex, one combining biology, geography, culture, money, and so on into one variable.
Did any bro remember SOPA? Dude. These are old things, man. Old.
One performance indicator was always going.
And all of that isn't even as old as like the birth of YouTube, like shortly after it, is when the Viacom Digital Millennia Copyright Act started to like really kick off. And well, we got a lot of our like the basis of fair use on YouTube via the Viacom lawsuit that happened a long time ago.
To be tricky. Proxy data rarely tells the whole story, and sometimes you are just measuring the wrong thing. Last month, as I write this, Netflix made public a batch of their viewership data for the first half of 2024. And guess what the most viewed film across their whole platform was? Was it one of the big hit films they licensed, maybe? Minions, Boss Baby?
Remember 2016? That was 9 years ago. That fact hurts me. Dude, it is literally going to be a decade since 2016. Harambe will have died a decade ago. Dude, Gamergate, some of you are around for Gamergate. You know Gamergate happened over a decade ago.
Super Mario Brothers? No, it was the Netflix original Millie Bobby Brown vehicle, Damsel. When I read this, I had two responses. The first was, who'd have thought? The second was, oh shit, I've watched that. The word slop gets thrown around a lot these days. Often the term's simply used towards products or media seen as lazy or soulless. But increasingly, I think an idea that slop is more than a broad pejorative seems to be spreading.
Wasn't the golden age of YouTube the one where people made a lot of jokes about having sex with kids? Oh. I think that anybody say, like, we need, not to be that guy, academia needs to come forward and start cataloging the ages of certain like websites as like an academic means for determining what type of content is being produced when, right? I don't think YouTube has had its golden age. I don't know when I'd classify the golden age. Okay. List of the most viewed YouTube videos. Oh, this is a really fun comparison. Guys, let's talk about slop discourse, and then we'll also look at the most viewed YouTube videos. All right? Most viewed YouTube video ever, okay, is Baby Shark. Despacito. Wheels on the Bus. Johnny, yes, Papa. Coco Melon again. See You Again by Wiz Khalifa. Shape of You by Ed Sheeran. Uptown Funk. Gangnam Style. Learning Colors. Dude, Crazy Frog is the 12th most viewed video, and it was uploaded in 2009. Okay? It's almost like YouTube has been a vehicle for slop always. Yeah. I mean, a lot of this stuff is aimed at children, right? But this is like the iPad babysitter stuff that you're seeing here. Or stuff that's not even English speaking, right? But like, at that rate, you know, a lot of this stuff, I think a lot of people would argue certain pop music, like Shape of You and stuff like that, is all like just is all like, people would call that like slop music, I'd argue, because it's pop music, right? But that stuff is very popular. I don't know anybody who hasn't heard of Uptown Funk. Same for Shape of You, same for See You Again, or Despacito. I want to point out Mr. Beast doesn't even chart. Yeah. But like, this is how people engage with YouTube, okay? People engage with YouTube in a completely different way than we do, okay? Like, I'm never going to be a billion view channel, but like, nobody here engages with YouTube in the way that people like this engage with YouTube. Timeline of most viewed videos. Okay. Baby Shark is on there twice. Let's see. List of most viewed YouTube channels. Let's see. By the way, most viewed YouTube channels. T-Series is #1. Coco Melon. Set India. Sony Entertainment Television India. Okay. Would you want to be a million view channel? I just want to make enough that I can pay for myself, pay for my people for me, and pay for my family. And that's it. That's all I want. If that means I need to be a million view channel, that'd be good. But otherwise, I don't want anything more than that. ZTV, Hindi language channel. WWE. Okay. Colors TV. Mr. Beast is 13. Okay. I would argue Mr. Beast is the first real YouTuber on this list, and he's 13. All right? The 12 most viewed things on YouTube aren't YouTubers. All right? And then it goes back to just being things that aren't even fucking YouTubers. Like, these are all like fucking not like music artists or fucking insane shit. And then we have, okay, Alan Chicky Chow. Who the fuck is that? Nobody even knows that. Who is this? I actually don't know who this is. Who the fuck is this? Is the 26th most viewed YouTube channel. I've never heard of this guy in my entire life. I'm just gonna, he's a shorts creator. Let's just go look. Let's just go look. I'm kind of curious now. Okay, I don't actually know what, but like, look at this. This is not the content that any of us watch. Okay.
In between two oceans in between us, and away for sure. There's a gate I see. There's a way for me.
Dude, this is like.
This one's and whispers things to me. Now I got the devil inside. This one made a pig of me. This world is primal, my guiding door. The head held the necktie on my bedroom door.
Dead internet theory. Who's actually watching this? There's more. Pink Fong. I just like this. There's 2 creators on this list so far, okay? And one of them we're not even sure is a real person. Bad Bunny. Let's see. TV. Blackpink. All right. There's 2 YouTubers on the top 50, okay? 2 YouTubers on the top 50 most viewed channels. And then people talk about slop content. This is such a, like, an issue in a small microcosm of such a larger ecosystem. The reason we don't notice this is because either we're not fucking speaking the language, and I think a lot of American or English speaking people on YouTube think they're the only place. But I don't even think America is the biggest demographic on YouTube or like the English speaking world. I mean, they make up a lot of it, but you know, India has a humongous media industry that's involved in YouTube. Spanish speaking YouTube What about Russia? They're not allowed online anymore. I've never seen this person before. This is very interesting. I feel like I've seen his face. Dude, this got 2.8 million views and was made for like $5.
Yeah, us too.
Is something wrong?
We had no time to rehearse our performance.
Is this ADR? This is all the audio in this is like weird. What is wrong with this? Me when I act.
Stalker that's been following us.
Stalker? I'll text you later. It's too many paparazzi here.
It's dubbed? Yeah, it has to be dubbed. 2.8 million people watch this, chat. Yeah, this definitely does fulfill the dead internet theory. Actually, this, so I would understand why people say dead internet theory. These comments are weird as hell. Do kids watch this? Assumedly more than just kids. Cool video. I actually like it. Haha. Alan, you are my biggest fan. I watch your video, and I am the first subscriber. You guys are the best actors. I wish I had tickets to see you guys in Nevada. Chelsea Amelia should be in this video. Bot comments. They could be non-English speakers. That's two. We will always sports you, Alan. You're my favorite YouTuber. Very beautiful pop star. Latest drama series episode compilation. Is teen content. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it, is teen content. Oh my god, Alan, I love you. I love the channel. You're my favorite YouTuber. Big fan forever. I am first subscriber. Also, I think you guys are overestimating the ability of people to comment on videos, okay?
My god, it is so much fun.
Second party, ride's here.
I think that's a really good point, Moon Bunnies. It's not hard to imagine who's watching this. Lots of countries don't have the same variety of streaming services available. For some, YouTube is the streaming app.
No way. Let's go.
Go back. What'd I miss?
My god, it is so much fun.
Second party, ride's here.
You know how easy this probably was to shoot, right? You put the camera on a dolly and it's motorized. Notice how it's going back and forth. You just get a nice head-on light on them and that's it. Dude, he downed that. What the fuck?
Second
Wait.
party, ride's here.
No way. Let's go.
Watch him drink that.
Here.
No way. Let's go.
Dude, the backwash on that is gross too. Ugh. His mouth is like all over that thing.
Wait, where's our driver?
You notice how the thing on his face, the thing on his face, I think it's inspired by that game that tracks periods, the gacha game that tracks women's periods. Am I wrong in saying that is that thing from that game? like the face piece? Love in Deep Space.
I think it's him.
I don't think it's really unsurprising to find out why this gets popular. I could understand why this would get a lot of views.
That was such a job. How
could you go to the party with ANZ and not tell me? I'm their biggest fan.
Why is there a werewolf? That's the biggest stalker he has. The big stalker. Yeah, yeah. She threw her bag. She threw her bag at him. And then it missed, but they made it look like it hit. Diesel, why are you locked in? I'm just very interested in the production of these things.
How could you go to
Guy, this is an 80 million sub YouTuber that none of us have ever heard of. I don't think anybody here is like, everybody here is like, who the fuck is this guy? Okay? But this guy has more viewers than some people in a country.
the party with ANZ?
Are you jealous? Not really. I don't even know how to fathom what kind of wealth this is like.
Tell me. I'm their biggest fan.
But I know people who are older than 8 years old would watch this content. 100%. You'll never be Darman. Dude, it is literally the Love and Deep Space thing. Holy shit.
Is this you?
Diesel, will you play Love and Deep Space for the She-They bisexual fans? Is there a PC app? I'll download it if it's on PC. They're meant to be in secondary school, then what's the context of why they have access to alcohol? I know I'm overanalyzing it, but it's not bottle. I can't remember it. What country is this from? Well, the channel's based in the United States, okay? But clearly, these people aren't in the United States. Okay? Like, that's obvious. I'm like, I had the CBT. I had... I didn't have CBT. No. I'm having CBDT, and it's making my stomach very upset.
My best friends are superstars.
Aren't they like Russian? They could be Russian. I could. That girl sounds Russian, 100%. But yeah, this guy's getting viewed by like millions of people. God damn, that's crazy. He just does the same thing on like every channel, but the views on this is insane, dude.
In this
Extreme hide and seek. Is definitely ain't in Hollywood, that's for sure. Yeah, that could be it. They could be 18-year-old seniors, but yeah, I don't know. The slop epidemics. I can't fucking speak. The slop economics of things is just like really goofy, I think. Dude, I'm literally having brain. It's literally giving me brain rot live. Let me go to the bathroom. I will be right back. I'm literally suffering from brain damage watching the slop content. Oh shit. I'll put on. You guys want some jazz while I'm gone? Who wants jazz? Dancing fruit? No dancing fruit? We haven't if we hit the goal, I'll put on dancing fruit. I'm trying to find one that's like based. I'll put a funk. Dude, having access to a stock library, holy shit, what is wrong with me? I can't fucking speak. Okay, funky, I'll be right back.
He's forcing us to pay for fruit.
This music is really funky. Am I right, chat? Diesel, do you wipe when you pee or just give it a good shake?
Someone call the bondulance. Diesel is having a stonk.
Dude, that's literally me right now. I don't know why I can't fucking talk. My brain is like running on empty, dude. Holy shit. It's pretty bad. Maybe I'd like dap my Pinot. You don't know that. All right. So we know where Alan came from. Alan Chow, began his career as a model for JCPenney and began to book roles on Disney Channel, including the series I Didn't Do It, Grey's Anatomy, and Hulu's Into the Dark. He was also a voice actor in the popular anime series One Piece. Interesting. Voice actor in One Piece. I'm overdosing on slop. So y'all are just whipping piss everywhere. I'm not like... It's like a little light shake. It's not like... I'm not like spinning my dick around. Did you guys see while we're like diverting the subject? I mean you. No, I didn't mean you. I meant chat. Oh my god. I actually can't speak tonight. I don't know what is wrong with me. I think it's because I talked a lot at work tonight. Okay? So it's a lot. I'm doing like a fucking I got to direct. I'm a guiding teacher for a narrative film that is being produced. And so there's a lot of yapping. And so I spend a lot of the day yapping. And then I come here and I yap. So I've...
Baba Booey. Did you know that in the Bee movie, who is a bee, got together with a human woman called Vanessa Bloom? Follow Diesel IRL for more Bee movie facts.
That's so true. That really happened. How did they have sex? You know, when you think about it. We got to consult 2Mad for the answer on that. Did you guys hear about Frisk? Frisk poisoning the water supply. This is a post that went like viral on twitter.com. And I think it's, I've never heard of this person before, but their outfit is absolutely Undertale coded, dude. Dude, Frisk's genocide around IRL is real, dude. I can't believe it. But yeah, Frisk fucking hates Picasso. But then also Frisk will work with radioactive waste and stuff. And yeah, so they did that. And I actually have that. So they still have the shorts up, at least on YouTube. But if they're disposing of it badly, yeah, then it can poison the land, basically.
I just made the world's most radioactive paint, but oddly, the radiation in this paint is the least concerning thing about it. See, this is yellow cake, and despite its delicious sounding...
Okay, so hear me out. Does Frisk sound like the brown bricks in Minecraft? Does Frisk sound like that? Frisk sounds like brown bricks in Minecraft.
name, it's actually just a more refined version of elemental uranium. And although this does technically contain uranium-235,
Uranium bricks in Minecraft.
which is the uranium that was used in the first atomic bombs, it's actually 99% the isotope uranium-238, a completely different kind of uranium that actually doesn't really undergo nuclear fission very much, which is what made the atomic bomb.
Do you think this paint glows in the dark? I mean, we definitely know this paint causes cancer. And by the way, yeah, part of what makes what happened with Frisk so bad, I'm calling them Frisk. This person is now just Frisk, the paint person, right? It's used as fuel for nuclear generators. Yes.
So powerful. Oh, but don't worry, it can still kill you, just probably not for...
But basically, yeah, if this person is disposing of their paint in an unsafe manner, they would literally be poisoning like the groundwater and turning it all into like nuclear waste.
Radiation. See, much like lead, uranium is a heavy metal, which means it's extremely difficult for your body to get rid of when you've ingested it. And this accumulation of heavy metals in your system can cause total organ shutdown and nervous system failure, along with a bunch of other fun stuff. So this is a cake you should probably avoid. I just made the world's most...
Yeah, so what happened is that the public weighed in on it, and modern day Madame Curie is getting canceled. An actual radiation expert has reported her to the National Radiation Commission over this. I do not trust this video or the creator. Because of that, neither should you. I'm not blocking her until she addresses it / apologizes. Dude, okay, first of all, there is a chance that she disposes of this stuff appropriately, but then also... the idea that people are canceling people over this is really funny. Like, obviously, if she's disposing of it by like throwing it out her window, that's a problem. But you know, if it's handled properly, then it's fine. The radiation isn't the least dangerous thing about it. Geiger counter proceeds to hit 4,000 plus. Yeah, I was. Part of me feels like this is just an example of TikTok imposing its will on somebody who's just doing a thing, right? I don't know. Am I wrong in that assumption? The paint is so dangerous, requires industrial level waste disposal. Okay, never mind. Never mind.
This Picasso was a... This green isn't just 8,000 years old, it's also deadly. But either way, we're making it into paint. So let's suit up in some protective gear before we get going, because although I love art history, I don't want to become a part of it just yet. You see, folks, today we're talking about malachite, that ghostly cool green that's been used in art and cosmetics.
Where is she getting these paints from? You can still buy, you know, like if you can buy this stuff online, man. You can like buy a lot of this stuff online. There's like chemistry websites. You can buy it. It's very easy.
For over 8,000 years. It gets that beautiful blue-green from copper carbonate, which if ingested can cause severe copper poisoning and even death if you were to eat.
Well, think about it. She didn't get the paint. It's not paint that she got. She literally just got some uranium.
Eat enough of it. But what, in my opinion, is the most interesting fact about this pigment is that it was used in the most stolen painting in history. The Ghent altarpiece. I'm working on a much longer video about it for later, but for now, let's just say that it was stolen by both French Napoleon Dynamite.
It's a cool idea for a channel, but she won't say how she cleans it up, so people are worried. Yeah, I feel like, though, that she's been doing this for long enough that, like, you know, I don't know. Nobody ever says to Nile Red, hey, Nile Red, do you dispose of these things appropriately? Granted, I feel like we see Nile Red do that, though, now that I think about it. But yeah, waste like that is really bad. There's like a meme where a cat got radiation treatment, and it's like 4,000 parts per million. Does she even make art? Yeah. It's like one of those art history people. The nuclear paint situation is crazy. Well, I don't even, like, I don't know where the discourse goes from here. Is that the guy who turns gloves into soda? He works in a lab. He has access to industrial waste disposal. True. The question is whether or not Frisk works or has industrial waste disposal, right? It feels like people jumping on her for no reason, given a not showing the whole process. I don't get it. Yeah, to me, this feels like people jumping on Frisk because they don't see the whole process of waste disposal, right? I feel like she probably does, but didn't say it. And so now people are just preemptively canceling her. Why not just ask her? Well, you see, instead of asking her, they're threatening to ruin her career first. You know, the best way. Yeah, they're concern trolling. This is concern trolling. Also, I love that we're calling them Frisks now. That is, they are literally Frisk. I don't think y'all know how bad uranium is. I know uranium is bad. Some people collect things like uranium glass specifically to destroy it. Maybe a case of that. I also feel like TikTok has an extremely low level of trust, though, lol. Like the pink sauce lady thing. And I said, yeah. Dude, whatever happened to her? What happened to the pink sauce lady? I feel like she should be given a chance to respond before people decide that that Frisk is poisoning the well. You know, literally. Dude, 5 months ago, Sunny V2 does a pink sauce video. Holy shit. She's going insane trying to make blue sauce. Dude, pink sauce makes for a great thumbnail. Walmart is selling the pink sauce. Baby Gronk tried to drink the pink sauce and he turned into Livy Dunn. Oh my god. Cloudy said people were already asking her how she disposes of her paints, but she didn't respond to them, so that's why people reported her. Hmm. I'm looking at the internet to find some other stories to see what's going on. But it's kind of a slow day. Oh my god. Dude, r/YouTube drama is so soy. Anyone else turned off by YouTubers not properly listing their sources on their video essays? Listen, H Bomber Guy and his consequences. Holy shit. This entire subreddit wouldn't be popular if it wasn't for H Bomber Guy and the James Somerton stuff. But I gotta be honest, I don't think you as a YouTube video viewer are going to look at the sources anyway. You know, I've started doing the sources thing. I'm not like perfect at it. But then also in the same breath, this is like the motherfuckers who watch a Netflix or History Channel documentary and go, where are the sources? It's like, I know your ass ain't going to look. It's just such like that's another concern troll, right? Like, because I know that 99% of people ever don't look at the sources.
Buy Mana Potion coffee and tell boss he's pretty-eyed.
That's so true. That's so true. That's right. You should buy Mana Potion coffee at manapotioncoffee.com. Fuck. I need to pack boxes tonight. Oh my god. I'm sending out orders. H Bomber Guy makes one documentary and now everyone is a tenured English college professor. Dude, it's because people don't got anything better to do. I like, that's really the gist of it. Do your job. I will. I look at the sources. Thanks for the self-esteem hit. Listen, Diesel, pack this box. I also don't even think most people care about plagiarism when they get down to it. Like, obviously, I'm not going out there to plagiarize. I don't. But, like, I don't think people feel that passionately about it. I think a lot of it is not them feeling that passionate about it. Yeah, I think if you genuinely walk away from a YouTube video and you're like a fucking plagiarizer, you need to get your priorities straight. Plagiarize these nuts. Like, I care about plagiarism as like an issue, but people kind of overblow its importance. Like the level of vitriol I've seen for some stuff, like James Somerton is an absolutely extreme case, but some of these people have some very strong opinions about very basic YouTube videos that it's like, we need a hobby. But in academia is absolutely where plagiarism is the most egregious and important. Like, that is where plagiarism should be taken the most seriously. YouTube is such like popcorn stuff that it's just like, okay, that's bad, but it's not as bad as like, you know, like 2D Trash said, where it's like stealing from grad students who can't speak up. But that happens a lot. and that's like a humongous issue in academia. And that's again also completely different than the YouTube thing. It's another thing to leverage at people you don't already like because people need to over-rationalize being haters for some reason. Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like a lot of the plagiarism discourse is based around how much you like or dislike a guy already, right? So it's like if you dislike someone, you'll target them using plagiarism as an angle. It's a really easy angle, right? But I've always been a proponent of just being a hater for the for the love of it. Like just fuck people. Like just fuck some guys. Like they should be fucked. Hey Diesel, have you gone over Plagued Moth? Dude, them motherfuckers are crazy. I've had YouTubers plagiarize my stuff before. I have. I don't care. I'd much rather the information I put out be spread around than me get credit for it, really. I don't have the energy to give a shit. If people want to care on my behalf, I think it's fine, but like I'm not gonna stop you, but I also just don't care. It happened with Yandere Dev. It happened with a much older video. I think I've said that there was a YouTuber who's like a big commentary channel who plagiarized me once, and I was just like, whatever, right? But it's just like cough, I never cough. Yeah, it was I never. Every time someone compliments or properly cites you, Diesel, I feel secondhand pride like a parent. Or a very happy pet owner. I don't... But yeah, I don't know. I don't really care. I'm past. There was a point where I wanted stuff like that to be credited for work that I went out searching for, but now I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. My priorities are much differently aligned. Diesel, stop copying me. All of the words you're saying right now are words I have said before. That's also true. I am copying you, Lunar Moon T, right now, actually. I'm copying you word for word. These are all words you've said. I'm just saying. Anyway. Plagiarize this. Crush a watermelon between your thighs. Watermelon stream next week. Watermelon stream. Post haste. Next. Yes, definitely next week. I'm not joking. If you're lying, I'll crash out. I don't know. Go over to the op block and find out.